Hey folks, 90 Moto here again, clearly in the even G1 series. And today I wanted to talk about the battery a little bit more, just a little bit. And then I'm going to go into some of the AI stuff because I got a question that's asking some questions to the AI. And quite frankly, yeah, okay, I want to see what it's going all about. So the first thing is about the battery. So last night I said in the video that it was at 11% when I got home, right before I put it. I'm going to put it in the charger. So I'll say once I put the charger, it was about an hour and a half before I went to bed. Now, when I went to bed, I think it was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I went to check the battery, and the battery in the app said it was like close to like in the 80s already. And I was like, wow, that charges really fast. Right. So this has only been, like I said, an hour and maybe two. So I was very impressed by how fast it was to charge. So I was like, oh, okay, this should be at its peak in no time. Also thinking about, well, every time I've charged it before, it's gotten to the around 80. So maybe that's the peak of it. I don't know. So anyway, so I went to bed. I woke up. I woke up about 6:30 in the morning, and I didn't immediately put the glasses on, but I did check the battery. So I checked the battery, keeping the glasses inside of the case, and the battery was at 96%, the highest I've ever seen it so far. So I was like, great, couple more minutes, it should be at 100, right? And that's also weird to me as well because it only took 2 hours for it to get to 86%. You would imagine an entire night's sleep, which was, I'll say, roughly about 8.5 hours worth. Um, you would expect it to just boom, 100%, right? It was at 96. I'm like, okay, maybe it's the last little bit that takes a while. No problem. 2 hours later, I come back to actually start the workday to put my glasses on to just start the day normally, and I checked the battery and it was at 90. Now, again, just to remind you, these glasses have been in the charger since I finished the video from last night, which was at 11%, and I checked them 3 times since then, right? So 2 hours after that, it was like around 80 something, 85, 86, something like that. Went to bed, woke up 6:30 in the morning, it's at 96%, right? And then 2 hours later, still in the case, not touched, 90%. I don't know what's happening. I have no clue how this battery charging situation is meant to be, right? Because again, those glasses just stayed in there from when I put them at 11 to when I took them out, all between those different amounts. So that was also like one of the weirder things that's happened that I just wanted to mention. But the glasses have been working. I've had them on my face the entire day, doing normal things. And I actually, speaking of that, the battery as well. I mentioned last night that I saw the battery indicator next to the notifications bell. Well, it's not there all the time, and that's why I didn't notice it in any of the other videos. Is it only appears when there's low battery, which is fine. That's cool. Whatever. It's I guess that makes some sense. Although I feel like you could have put an indicator in there to basically say the levels at any time. Just I guess maybe that would be helpful just to see how it's gauged. Um, but yeah, it seems like the battery indicator only appears at low battery inside of the dashboard. Such is life. Okay, the next thing I actually going to talk about very briefly is Translate, just because I had an opportunity to test it very briefly today, and I don't think it was a really good test. It wasn't good conditions. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. Um, for the real Translate test, I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Um, but basically, my mother-in-law called, and I had an opportunity to listen in on my wife and my mother-in-law talking over the phone. Now, my wife and I, we just put our phones on speaker in the house regularly because we can't be bothered to hold our phones. So we'll just put things on speaker because we don't care who's talking, who's listening, who cares, doesn't matter. So um, my mother-in-law calls. They start having a conversation, and I kind of like rush in, turn on Translate, and begin trying to kind of hear the or read the conversation in this particular way. So, just to let you know, my mother-in-law and my wife both speak Chinese, specifically Cantonese. My mother-in-law actually can speak Mandarin, but all of her kids don't speak Mandarin, so they all speak Cantonese. In the translate, the only thing that's there in terms of selection is just CN. So it doesn't seem to differentiate if it's going to be Mandarin or Cantonese or even any other dialect that might be out there. So I'm not sure if it's doing one or the other, or if there's any cross between them yet. But during that conversation, um, while my mother-in-law was on speakerphone, it picked up very, very little of that conversation. Okay. Now, my assumption of that is because my mother-in-law was on speaker and the quality of that voice is really not great, right? It's not like someone's in the room. So I have a feeling that even when my wife was speaking Chinese during that conversation, the AI is trying to pick up two different voices and also getting confused that way. Because I have a suspicion, and I don't know this for sure, that it's probably expecting only one voice to be interacting, like that person's talking to me and only to me. I don't think it's probably meant for like a group of people in a conversation that I'm not necessarily in. So I don't know that for sure yet. Okay, so that's kind of important. Although I have a suspicion that that's not actually the case for another reason I'll tell you in a minute. um, what I did do though is that halfway through that conversation I restarted the translate, and then I started it just as about my wife was speaking. And when my wife started speaking, it picked that up, and it picked up what that part of the conversation was, and it got it fairly accurate because it was talking something about me sitting on a stool that's here in the house, and I still needed more context than what it was really giving me because it wasn't again 100% accurate, but it was talking about sitting in some way, and I think it said he wouldn't sit on one of those or something like that. I wasn't sure because I didn't get the other parts of the message, but I'll say that that particular again, based on the environment that was going on there, it wasn't really the best environment to test this as a first test. Based on that stuff, I think it did um, okay. Obviously, not great, but um, after that, she had her conversation. They hung up, and we went to the kitchen to like talk about other things. I ended up putting it on English to English translation, which is essentially subtitles. Okay, and I don't need subtitles. I obviously can understand here English, no problem. But I wanted to see what that looked like because I heard a lot of people talking about it, asking questions about subtitles. Does that work, etc. So I wanted to try it myself. So I put subtitles more or less on for me in the conversation, and I'll say that it was probably about 90% accurate. And definitely enough so that you can get the gist of the conversation, even if it wasn't 100% accurate to what was exactly being said, which I think is fine. Because again, if you can get the gist of the conversation, that's probably okay, right? Especially if the conversation is going along and you're grabbing bits and pieces of it. I shouldn't say bits and pieces. You're grabbing large chunks of context, right? I think that's really good. So I'll say again, in that subtitle English to English thing, about 90% accurate, and I think just about anyone uh, in the right conditions would be happy with what the glasses are saying. Okay, so that's translate. Again, I'm going to talk about probably translate the next time I have the my in-laws kind of all together in the same room and going at it with my mother-in-law. Um, and seeing what happens with that. But again, I don't know what it's going to be like with lots of people. Is it going to get confused or something like that? But I guess we'll see. All right. So the last thing I want to do is that in my previous video, someone was asking questions about the AI. So I do want to try the AI. I'm getting it out of sleep mode, and I'll take the questions directly out of the comment. All right. So let's see what we got here. Oh, I have low battery again. Let's actually look at what the battery is. Again, I did do translate a couple of times today, so um, let's see what we got here. Battery's at 20%. So I guess that this comes up at 20%. All right, so let's try this AI. There we go. Hold this. Okay, sorry. I'll tell you what just happened. So basically, I went to the dashboard, I held the button, and then it said I'm unable to answer that question at this time, which I didn't get an opportunity to see even AI yet, but let me try again. What is 300 times 26? Oh, it didn't even give me an opportunity. Okay. Oh, I didn't. Sorry. I keep forgetting. I have to hold it while I ask the question. All right, let's try again. Let me just reset a little bit. What is 300 times 26? Okay. So it has an answer. It says 300 times 26 is 7,800. Alternatively, to find 26% of 300, it seems to be asking for 26% of 300. Oh, there's two pages, and I went to the second page, and I missed what it said on the first page. I don't know why it went. I think you could like paginate with this thing, but now there's nothing here, so I can't see anything anymore. Okay. Well, I think I got the right answer, right? 300 times 26 sounds like it could be 7,800. Let me just do a quick check. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna point at the camera basically when it provides an answer after I ask. So the next thing is okay, hex color for white. All right, let's try. What is the hex color for white? For a while. Oh, okay, here it is. Yep. Hex color for white is FFF or hash FFF. All right, so I figured it out eventually. That's good. All right, it's still on the screen. Okay, it's gone now. Excuse me. Okay, and then the last thing I have here is talking about adding an image link in HTML. So I imagine that this is going to be a couple of pages. I'm going to try to see if I can paginate, maybe go back and forward. And in fact, you know what? Let me look at the support guide for that, just in case I forget how the pagination works. Here we go. Okay. I could have swore it was like paginate to go left. Let me look at the app. Oh, it actually has the stuff that I've said in here. That's cool. Okay. I didn't know that. All right. Even AI. Okay. So scroll up is tap right. So to go back is this one. And then scroll down is this one. Okay. So I'll have to tap here to go back up. All right. All right. Let's give it a shot. This is the last one. Again, image link in HTML. Here we go. How do you add an image tag in HTML? Okay, we got it. Add an image to HTML, use the image tag and specify the source of the image using the source attribute. Additionally, include the alt attribute for alternative text in case the image cannot be loaded. Here's the, okay, it has actual code in HTML and backticks. Make sure to replace image.jpg with the actual source. Okay, let me go back because it disappeared way too fast. So I can't see the rest of it. But okay, here's what it is about the AI, right? From what I can tell. It seems pretty accurate. We did the strawberry test yesterday, right, or the other night, whatever that was, and it nailed that actually pretty quick. We did a couple of tests here with the AI, and they all provided the correct answers. Now, I guess um, you could review the AI stuff that came up in here. Like if I come up in here, I can actually read everything. Um, Precisely. And again, it has the backticks that are on here to show what the code is. It's accurate. It's very accurate. Um, but the big problem is I have a notification. Okay, cool. Twitter. Um, and I'll talk about notifications. I have five apparently right now. But for the AI piece, again, what it seems to be very clear in terms of it seems to be very accurate for the things that we just asked. Um, and in fact, that the 300 by 26, actually, I wanted to see what the rest of that was. Um, okay, yeah, it says 300 times 26 is 7,800. Alternatively, to find 26% of 300, you can calculate it as follows. 300 times 0.26 equals 78. So to clarify, 300 times 26 is 7,800, but the question seems to be asking for 26% of 300, which is 78. Interesting. The other thing that's a little interesting in here as well is there's backslashes um, in a lot of the places in this response. Let's see if I can show that to you. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I'm gonna look at the feed here. Come on. Do you see those backslashes that are on there? Right. So I don't know. Those came up in the glasses as well, and I don't. Probably an encoding problem of some sort, but it's readable, right? Like that's okay. Um, but yeah, the thing that's weird is that I would like to be able to paginate it myself, or at least have the option to paginate it myself, because I can understand like asking that question, probably not expecting someone to read it aloud. They're just looking for the answer, so they just need to read that question or the answer to that question, and then obviously ingest it. But for a person who's trying to demo the thing, it's way too fast. So I think there would be nice to kind of have this ability to control when it's shown and when it's not. Would be helpful. I would say that's even similar to the notification thing, because I have a feeling, looking at the notification, I don't think it goes away until I go down. I think that's right. Well, these individual notifications. Um, so yeah, that would be nice to be able to control the AI. But like I said, the AI so far, and in this video, you can ask me more about potential questions for the AI. As a separate thing as well, someone asked me about Navigate, and they wanted me to look up addresses in their location, which is, he was telling me, literally on the other side of the world, basically like in the Middle East somewhere. And the answer is that I can't get to those locations, and I have a feeling that's because I can't walk there or bike there. I think the locations that are in Navigate are specific to your particular location, so it doesn't make sense. You can't walk to the Middle East from where I am. It doesn't make sense. So it only gives you places that are close to you, that you can walk to, as opposed to like anywhere in the world. So fortunately, I can't figure out if like this works in your country, if it's not, or even probably your state, because I'm not in your state. Although I'm imagining it works in the U.S. because I have it here. Um, okay, so that's that. I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention that I forgot what it was. With the AI, I think that's it. Talking about asking, yeah. So you can give me more AI stuff. Someone also asked about the teleprompter. That's going to take a little bit of setup for me to do, and admittedly, I'm kind of lazy, so I don't know if I'll get around to the teleprompter stuff, because that means I would have to actually write a script and read the script, and see if it follows along. Um, Again, based on the like the transcription stuff, the translation stuff I've seen so far, I'm imagining it's probably going to be pretty good. But I don't expect me to probably do that anytime soon. But maybe I'll give it a shot if I have an opportunity. I'll say one more thing as well. So this week I had the glasses on every single day for the entire day, basically, more or less from when I woke up to when I'm about to go to bed. I'm going to probably step that down a whole bunch, where I'll only probably use the glasses when I go outside. Um, and I probably won't use them while I'm in the house, because I have my phone. I have in front of all these stupid computers all day. So like I don't really need more notifications on my face. I don't think. But when I go out, then I think it'll be a little bit more helpful, and just also conserve battery life that kind of stuff. So my expectation, probably starting next week in particular, is probably a lot less of these videos, but also to be using them a lot less and only when I'm going out, which I do work from home, so not as much. But this has been great so far, and if you have more questions, I'll answer in the comments, or in cases that I need to try something out, I'll try something out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I sign off. Let me look at dashboard. Oh, notifications. Let's look at those. All right, so I have 5 notifications. So let's look back once. Okay, that's a Twitter notification. That's what I read just before. Okay, apparently voice is working in the background. Okay, I have a Slack notification. Duplicate Slack notification. Okay, and then voice is working in the background. So I have duplicate notifications there. So I'm just getting duplicate notifications for everything. It's not just Gmail like I thought it was. There are duplicate notifications for Slack. I have also seen duplicate notifications earlier today for Twitter as well. So I don't think it's unique to any one particular app. I think it's just duplicate notifications. So don't know what that is. And I also think I looked at for updates earlier today. I'll just take another peek here if there's any updates for the G1 right now. Let's see. Device info, firmware version, check update. No update. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, I'll see you guys on the internet. Thanks for watching.